everyone, I'm Devin Alexander, chef from The Biggest Loser and New York Times bestselling author. So tonight I'm trying something a little different. I am going to be cooking this next dish with you at the same time, and I've never cooked it before either. We found this great recipe for maple glazed salmon with fresh corn quinoa in Cooking Light magazine. So are you ready to join me, and let's see how amazing all of these fresh ingredients come together. Actually, let's go through our equipment list first. So it says here we need a small pot, which we have. If you don't have these out yet, let's pull them now. 2 small bowls. We want a large skillet, which I have, a baking sheet lined with foil, and then a medium bowl over here. Never hurts to have a couple measuring cups, and I always like to have a garbage bowl, especially when you're doing things like pulling corn, or just pull your garbage can here and you'll be all set to go. Won't have a big mess. Okay, so let's get started here. All right, we're gonna fill our measuring cup with 1 cup of water. Now, when you're doing this, you should always really look and make sure your line is correct. I've done this so many times that I can judge even when I'm looking from an above angle, but just make sure it's the right amount of water, because sometimes it does make a difference. Now let's put this on high heat for now. We want to bring that to a boil as we add our quinoa. And then it tells us how much salt do we need. Let's see. ½ teaspoon. Now, if you are watching your salt content, you can skip this, but let's follow to the T here. ½ teaspoon. And then I would stir this around. All right, cutting shallots. Now this is more my specialty. This shallot is nice and flat. You can see you have a good surface here, so you don't have to worry about that moving on you. If you have a shallot that's a little wobbly, you might want to cut it in half first. Okay, now you start here. Always hold your hand so that your fingers aren't wrapped around it, because then it's too close to the knife. You want to put some slits as far through as you can, but still keeping it intact. This will help you get nice small pieces, because it's never fun to have like a crunch of an onion like that. Okay. Again, be careful as you get closer to your hands, and then we'll do some cuts this way. Some very thin ones. And then a quick chop through. Are you keeping up with me? Okay, and then slow down a little bit at the end. And if you have a rough bit like I have here, you can just get rid of that, throw that in your garbage bowl. Now, I should say, when you're doing onions, sometimes you can do a lot of things in a food processor to make it go really fast, but onions are one of those things that you absolutely do not want to do in a food processor. You want to do as few cuts as you can for the size that you want them, because otherwise they can get a little bitter. All right, now onto our garlic. Cut the little brown end off. Throw that in your garbage bowl. And then I usually smash this with a knife. There's also a ton of tools you can use these days, like there's graters, and there's even this little, I like to call it a garlic car, super easy things. And normally when I'm doing a lot of garlic, I'll just put that in a food processor. Garlic, unlike onions, no problem food processing. Italian or not, you don't want hunks of garlic. All right, next moving on to our corn. Let's peel this back. Throw the little pieces all over the place, have fun with it, pretend it's confetti. Now you really want to take as many of these fine little hairs off of here. So you never want them in your corn. Whoops. Making a total mess, I love it. It's so fun that this is all prepared by chef though, huh? Okay, let's go get these off. You know, you can use a rubber band and scrape down this. It goes quicker. So if you have one handy, feel free to do that. Come off really quickly. Okay. Next, we are going to chop our corn. Oh, and it sounds like this is boiling, so let's turn that down to low heat, stir it one more time, and cover it for about 10 minutes. Okay, now our corn. Now again, make sure you're on a flat surface. You always want to be careful when you're working with a knife that you're very stable, and have a sharp knife. I know a lot of people think that if your knives aren't sharp, you'll be less likely to be cut. It's the opposite. Just cut as close as you can. Whoops, you know what? I should have given you my other tip. If you do this in a bowl, it won't fly all over the place like it did here. All right, let's pick this up. See, I'm losing seconds. You can catch up with me now. Ah, yes. Honestly, I think one of the most fun things about cooking is making a mess. It's particularly fun if somebody else can clean it up for you. Some days I have that, and other days I unfortunately have to do it myself. Okay, there you go. All right, just cut down in here. Again, make sure you have a solid surface. There we go. More here. Oh, this corn looks so fresh. Go. And that's looking pretty good, and you can join your friends in the bowl. Now we're gonna do, oh, look, total mess of all these little things. I'm just gonna push them off to the side. What is up with these little fibers? It's like never ending. All right, next we're going on to our herbs. Now, I'm gonna show you a really fancy trick with my basil. You wanna pull the leaves off. And then if you want to make it really pretty, we don't really need to for this dish, but it's fun, so we're going to. You could do just a quick rough chop, but I'll show you this neat thing. Okay, stack your leaves here. The big ones. This is perfect for a garnish. You roll them tightly. Whoops, the guy went away. All right. And then do really, really thin slivers here. This is called a basil chiffonade. Look, perfect little garnish. So much prettier than chop, choppity chop. But again, in this recipe, you don't really need to do it. Let's go through the last couple bits. Isn't it amazing how herbs have 0 calories, but they add so much flavor? I swear, I keep them in my kitchen all the time. But it's so nice that they come in your chef box, right? You don't have to worry about anything going bad or any of that. Okay, get rid of those. And now we'll move on to our mint, another flavor that I love. Have you seen fresh mint leaves before? It's pretty amazing how powerful the smell is of these too. Okay, let's see, pluck those off. Now, obviously, you want all these things pre-washed. So if you haven't washed, well, I guess it's a little late on the basil, but wash them anyway. You can always throw this in a salad spinner if you kind of skipped that step and didn't realize they need to be washed. Okay, let's see. So fun plucking herbs. I often have friends over and just have them sit at the counter here and pluck away for me, and I cook the rest of the dish. Okay, there we go. Ooh, wait, how finely is this supposed to be chopped? Roughly chop. Okay. You know what that means? Not like all in teeny tiny little minced pieces, but you know, you want to taste them, but you still don't ever want like a whole leaf. That would be terrible in anything. I think I'd call that rough. Pretty good. Okay. Combine that with our basil. Now, I'm gonna prepare our lemon. Now, when you're squeezing lemons, it's always best to roll them on a counter first, putting pressure on them. That will release some of the juices so that it doesn't go spewing all over the place like those little fibers did. Okay, there we go, that's pretty loose. Cut it in half. And we're just using half the lemon for this recipe. So you can always use the other half for something else, like I don't have water here, but I would suggest you get a glass of water. Always want to drink tons of water every day, and then you can throw the extra lemon in there. You know, and if you're having trouble getting the lemon out, you can always use a fork. Get all the juice, although this lemon is pretty juicy. Okay. And then I just dig in with my fingers and get my seeds out. There's tools for this. I have them, but we're going kind of rustic tonight. Okay, there we go. I think I got them all. Quick rinse of my fingers. My quinoa is looking good. Okay, that's all prepped out. Now for our tomatoes. Now we're gonna make some broiled tomatoes. I am the biggest tomato fiend on the face of the earth. I swear I could eat bowls of tomatoes every day. Right, throw them in our bowl. Again, you wanna have washed these. And then we're gonna put a teaspoon of olive oil on here. Now, if you're watching your waistline, you don't have to do the full teaspoon. They'll still come out great, but we will do the full teaspoon today. Okay, there you go. Then a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. And then if you wanna get really cool, this is how you do this, okay? Tilt your bowl down. Toss them around, see? It's a good dinner party trick. Your friends will think you're super cool. Okay, going on to the salmon, we're mixing these 3 ingredients together. Whoops, I filled my bowl. These fibers, they really were all over the place. Okay, this is honey, right? Oh no, it's maple syrup. That's really light. Huh, I've never seen that little bit, I guess. Okay, a little bit of maple syrup. We have some hoisin sauce, which you probably know is an Asian ingredient. Have you ever had hoisin chicken? It's really yummy. It's kind of like, if you've ever had a Chinese 5-spice blend, it's really aromatic, almost a little licoricey. Okay, well, actually, why don't you just smell it? Why am I describing it? All right, and then some Dijon mustard. And we mix these together. These are gonna make an amazing glaze for the salmon. Not only will they just make it taste so good, it'll keep it nice and moist for you. Okay, add my pepper to my sauce. Give that another little stir. Okay, there we go. Ooh, that looks really good. Let's see, what's next? All right, we're gonna put the tomatoes and the salmon on our baking sheet. Now remember, I already have this lined with foil. I often use non-stick foil because it makes it much easier to clean. I don't like doing dishes. I already said that, didn't I? Funny, repetitive. Now you wanna put about half your sauce over your salmon fillets. Here, I'm still making a mess. All right. Now, if you touch the salmon, you'd want to wash your hands at this point, but I just did it that way. All right. Now, actually, I'm going to pull out a fancy silicone brush, which is what I would use in my kitchen. I think I'm going to. Maybe I'm not. Oh, yes, I am. Here it is, hiding from me. If you don't have one of these, you can definitely use a spoon. Here, I'll join you and I'll do one that way, but I'll show you how cool it is if you want to get a silicone brush. Okay, you can do it with a spoon, or you can be extra cool and do it with your little brush and have a little painting project. There you go. That also helps you to get it on much more evenly. Now we're saving half the glaze because we're gonna put that on halfway through. Since it's gonna be under the broiler, it's going to crisp on a little bit, so you do wanna leave a little bit for the end so it's nice and juicy. Okay, there you go. All right, now I believe we popped this into our, oh no, I didn't set my broiler. Fail. Okay, see, paying attention to you, not paying attention to that. Let's eat our broiler. All right, now we're a bit behind. We may have to chill and have a glass of wine. All right, now we're gonna add our tomatoes to the same baking sheet. Perfect. But not like that. All right, perfect. Okay. And meanwhile, it's looking like my quinoa is done. So I'm gonna turn that off and pop these under my broiler for about 4 minutes. Go. And I'll get started on that spinach. Are you still with me? Are you keeping up? Come on, we can do this. Okay. So far, so good, right? All right, now let's put this over, probably medium, is it? Medium, huh, good guess. All right, with a tablespoon of olive oil. Now, if I was making this for me, I'd probably nix the tablespoon of olive oil. I don't tend to put a lot of, or at least maybe put a teaspoon. I don't put a lot of oil on my veggies because, you know, 120 calories, 14 grams of fat. I'd rather eat a brownie. But, you know, some people love olive oil in their veggies. So just move that around a little bit. And we are going to add our shallots and our garlic that we so perfectly chopped, right? You chopped yours perfectly too? Well, mine aren't perfect, but you get the point. Okay, we'll give this a couple minutes. Now again, you don't want this over high heat because you don't want them to really brown. You just want to give them that little sweat for a couple minutes so they smell really aromatic. You'll see what I'm talking about in approximately 2 minutes. They'll smell really, really good. That's when you know to add your corn. All right, so let's just get a little sweat on these. As you can see, it's starting to sizzle a bit. We're getting close. So again, this is so aromatic. I love adding herbs or garlic and onion to spinach. It gives it so much more flavor because otherwise, you know, it's pretty boring. And the cool thing about this spinach dish is that we're just gonna wilt it. We're not gonna cook it completely. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So we're gonna throw our corn in. Just get a minute on that. It doesn't take a lot to cook corn. Obviously, corn can even be eaten raw. Okay, there we go. Ooh, that's so sweet and fresh. I can already tell. It's very exciting. Okay, get rid of this back here. And again, just give this a little stir. Ooh, it's popping. All right, you're still with me, right? Okay. All right, that's looking pretty good. All right, this is looking like it's ready to add our spinach. Now, it's gonna feel like you're adding a ton, but you'll see in a minute that this will wilt down to nothing. Have you ever made like spanakopita, you know, those little spinach triangles? It's so funny. You start with a bag of spinach like this, and by the time you squeeze out all the moisture, it's seriously a ball like that big at most. It's crazy. Oh, wow. I feel like, yes, good. We have tongs. Oh, we use the salmon for those tongs. We don't want to use those. I'm going to see if I can find another pair here. Or 2 paddles. That'll work. Okay. Whoops. Oh. Spinach going haywire, too. I want to get this all in. Hurry, hurry. Come on, let's go. Ah. Make sure you used a big pan or you're in trouble. All right. Come on, you can do it. All right. Yeah, get the stuff off the bottom. Oh, it's a lot, huh? Okay, but you see it's shrinking down already. All right, just don't overcook it. You know how like sometimes it's just a ball? This is actually looking good. I think I'm gonna turn the heat down because by the time, put these pieces back in there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is looking great. As you can see, the spinach is releasing a ton of moisture. There's so much moisture in it. The other thing is spinach is kind of high in salt. Did you know that? It has a pretty hefty sodium content. So before you put salt, oh no, wait, stop. Now I want it to halt the cooking. All right. Yeah, that looks about perfect there. Okay, what's the next step? And we're gonna stir in our cooked quinoa. I'm gonna take that off the heat for a second to grab my salmon. I can smell that that's getting pretty strong and thus getting close to being done. Pot holder, please. Oh, yeah, that's looking good. Okay. All right, let me grab my glaze and I'll get the rest of that glazed up. Okay. Ooh. It's nice and browned there. We just have a couple more minutes here. Let's see. It's spooned on. Ooh, it's toasty in here. Ooh. All right. Again, you could do this with a spoon, but oh my God, that looks so good. Oh, yum. Yum. Scrape it all out. Yay. Okay. Here we go. Ah. All right. Fortunately, I didn't make a mess on the floor. All right. Let's see. Now we just add our quinoa, I believe. Okay, remove the vegetables from the heat. We did that. Stir in the cooked quinoa. Let's make sure we'll fluff this up and make sure that it's all... Oh, perfect. I love red quinoa. The white stuff's good too, but much prefer the red stuff. Okay, we'll put that right on top. Plus, it's so colorful and beautiful. It's like Christmas. Any day of the year. All right. You know, a lot of people put too much water in quinoa. Have you ever noticed that? And then it kind of gets this really bitter taste to it. So be really careful. You do want the water to boil. You want it to be absorbed pretty quickly, and then it doesn't get that residual. Just like we did perfectly here. All right, now we are adding the basil and mint, which we already did. And remember, we have these pretty basil ribbons that we could have saved for the top if we want, but we're not going to right now. But again, if you're having company, you might want to do that. All right. And then the juice of half of the lemon. Put that on there. And then what's next? Oh, wow. We get to eat half of this. How exciting. I love big portions. Okay, let's see. Up. Let's mix this up. Oh my God, this looks so good. Wow. Awesome. Are you with me? Come on, are you ready? Cool. Okay, perfect. Your spinach isn't overcooked, right? You pulled it from the heat on time? Perfect. All right, this is a lot of food. Holy moly, I love it. Let's get our plate here. Put about half of this on here. Oh my God, this is so delicious looking. All right, I can say that since it's not my dish. Do a nice little mound here. See, now I wish I did save a couple little basil leaves, but oh my God, you can so smell the mint, right? Holy moly. And I'm guessing my salmon is about done. That looks about, oh no, I made a mess. Ah! All right. I think we can get this out of the way now. Okay, now let's get this. It's getting a nice, oh, I smell, whoa. Oh my God, so great. Pull that right out. Switch spots here. I love when salmon gets that crust on it, you know? Let's see, what are we gonna put that on here with? Here we go. Make sure to keep your fillets intact. Oops. Oops. Shh, it broke. Oh, drat. Man, okay, if you're having company, just do this. Take that out of there. You'll never be able to tell. This is when you use your fingers because you know they're clean. Whoa, oh, that's hot. Okay, there we go, right there. Such a mess. I've made a mess again. Oh my God. All right, now let's get our tomatoes on here. We'll grab another. Well, we can use this. Scrape it off a little. I love how they have the brown bits on them. Oh my God, look at this plate. I made a total mess. These look really good though. Holy moly. All right. Okay, now if you wanna make this look really nice, here's a little trick for you. Grab a paper towel, just use a corner of it, and make sure you don't have any drippings on the side of the plate. That's what the pros do. Here you go. Oh, now it's a little oily, so just put that off. See? Perfect, just like the pros. Now you might note that I didn't make this exactly, or I didn't plate it exactly the way it was on the recipe card. That's okay, you don't have to do that. I just had this sort of creative afternoon, I guess, but that looks just as beautiful, if not more. You can do whatever you want. Now, I don't know about you, but I am dying to try this because I've never had it before. Let me grab a fork here. Give this a little bite. Doesn't it look so delicious? Are you joining me? Oh my God, that's so amazing. Can you believe we did all of this in under 30 minutes? I don't know about you, but I had a ton of fun doing this, and I hope you did too. Well, congratulations, we've been chefed.